Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio. You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is May 14, 2024, and this is episode 169 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. Magneto was right. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior, and joining me tonight is a special guest co-host. Someone who I'm not even sure if I've had him on as a guest co-host in the past, but he's someone you should all be very familiar with. He is our beloved sports aficionado. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the actual King Smith, everybody.
Yeah, watch me slide in. That's what I do. And
All
yes, I have been here one time, good sir. I am
One time.
offended. I haven't been asked to come back more.
How do I look, man? I feel like this is a look for me. I feel like this is a look.
You never ask me that because it will always be you look like a goober.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I ask the people. I ask you, the fine folks at home, the peoples. What do you think? What is up with you? See, even Jim says, he goes, well, I was flaccid. There you go. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Do I have a cold sore I'm hiding? That's pretty good. I like that.
Nice.
Yes, I've got hickeys. This is my hickey helmet. You know, I put it on when I have hickeys. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, King. I appreciate it. Which people in the chats, let me know if his mic needs to go up or down, because I'm hearing it differently in my head. But let me know if yeah, everybody got jokes tonight. Let's see. I was hoping it wasn't Coach. We always said CQ needed to wear a helmet.
Who said that one? That's good.
Greg. And Pete says he's surprised your head fits in the bubble. So there you go.
Oh.
Coming in hot.
Everybody coming in hot today. I love it.
I sound like I'm talking in a helmet. Yeah, because, I am. This thing is... Should we talk about how you put this on and it was a snug fit, and on me it's like floating?
I looked sexy in that pic.
I have to balance it on the crown of my head, otherwise I'm like lost inside of it. Anyway, obviously I've got a new toy and I'm enjoying playing with it. And I have a lot of other new things, new toys that are some in there. So you'll notice the background. There's a lot of stuff. Because really, first off, no guest tonight. Laundry list of guests coming up soon. But, we got to enjoy these one-offs when we get a break. Well, when I get a break. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you because our friend, the actual King Smith here, joined me, what was it, a week and a half ago now? At Fan Expo Philadelphia, Fan Expo Philly, which is where all these new things that's on this table back here, I'm just cataloging all of the new giveaway items. That box was full, that bag was full. We scored quite a haul. Coming back from Fan Expo. So I just wanted to take a moment to show appreciation and thank you for accompanying me, you were my bodyguard. It was great. My bodyguard throughout the whole thing. So
and that was fun, man. I was going through, I was keeping my head on the swivel. There was one crazed fan that came up that I had to give him a Heisman, like, hey, not too close. But other than that, man, I had a good time.
Yes, it was good. Let's see. Keith says when he moves up here, he's going to show up with his Iron Man helmet. Jim wants to know if we can both try on the helmet at the same time. It's a little too giggity for me. Scott said, "Damn, we got CQ and CQ from Wish." I like that. You're the bargain bin version of me. I love it. Anywho, a lot happened. I'm gonna hang on a second. I'm gonna take the goddamn thing. I'm already sweating. I was in it for like 3 minutes, and I'm already sweating in that damn thing. All right, you go back there. Okay, it'll go into the background eventually. So Fan Expo Philly, real quick. I just wanted to catch you guys up. What a great convention! A lot of amazing guests. A lot of really cool stalls and a lot of shopping opportunities and a lot of really cool stuff that came out of that. Is there anything that jumps to your mind, King, that you really enjoyed about that specific convention on that specific day?
I had the opportunity to meet fan of the show. You gave an awesome interview with her, Vanessa Marshall. Yo, she is authentic. What you saw in that interview is how she is in real person. So having the opportunity for me to meet her, I thought was fantastic. That was dope. And she's the real deal. That was my favorite part.
I could not agree with you more. We met quite a few people, and everybody was super inviting and nice. But Vanessa is one of a kind. In fact, we were joking. So we didn't really shoot a lot of content at the convention. And that boiled down to there's a vibe. Like I've been to enough conventions where I can instantly pick up a vibe. There's going to be certain conventions where it's like, oh, it's really good to talk to retailers at this show. It's really good to talk to celebrities at this show. And we've had bangers of a time at a convention where we got a ton of celebrity, interviews and things. I've had the ones where we had the military shout outs at some. So there's always a different vibe. The vibe at this show was not there. It wasn't. There was really, and I talked to a couple of other people that I know. We traveled the same circles as far as interviewing and stuff, and nobody was getting interviews. Nobody. One of the people that I know who's really good at getting interviews was like, I got 5 minutes with the voice of Mario, the old voice of Mario, and that was it. So it was I don't know, the vibe just wasn't there, but we made the most of it. We experienced everything on the show floor. We got our bobbleheads made. We did a bunch of shopping, which we'll talk about a couple of things of those. And we did talk to Vanessa and a couple of others, got a couple of signatures and photos and a book signed and different things. But my biggest takeaway is something that didn't even happen at the convention.
Okay.
You went off and did your things on that, what was it, Saturday night? You went off and did your things. I went to Vanessa, speaking of Vanessa, invited me out to dinner. She and a bunch of her coworkers were going out to eat. One of the people, it was their birthday, and so they were going to celebrate. And
where did y'all go? Tell the people.
We went to Fogo de Chao.
My spot.
Fogo de Chao. For those that don't know Fogo de Chao, it is a Brazilian steakhouse where they will just keep giving you meat. Like Mad Mike likes to say, all the meat I can get. But like, it's like, sausage and then, steak and steak wrapped in bacon and then garlic chicken. And then like, it's just meat after meat. And then these little fried cheese things that were amazing. So we ate and ate and ate. I think I gained like 9 pounds, at that restaurant. It was so good. But the reason I mention it is because it gave me an opportunity to really spend time with Vanessa, not interviewing her, not seeing her at the con, like spend time with her and some of her colleagues in I guess what you would call like their normal everyday life, right? Just sitting down for a meal. I heard some stories that I cannot share because it got really real, first of all. Because, when she introduced me and they were like, oh, what are you doing? I said, I had interviews and things like that. And they're like, oh, whatever we say here is off the record, you know. And I was like, hey, I get it. We're off the clock. This is just a bunch of people sitting around talking. And man, they started sharing some stories about difficult directors, difficult stars, difficult. I shared some of it with you privately, but a lot of just stories that I was just like, holy, you know, some which you're like, yeah, I've heard that person is very difficult to work with, but some of them where I was like, wow, I would have never guessed. Makes sense why they've never come on my show, because those people are not nice people. But Vanessa was awesome, and we got some good stories. I made some great connections, and I bring all this up with, for those that know this show, know I hate teasing things that don't end up coming to fruition. And I see Ice out there. What's up, Ice? Ice got a special shout out from Vanessa.
Yeah,
he got a little love letter from it. Let me tell. Okay, so funny story. I'm sitting down and we're talking, and I go, "Hey, you know, Vanessa. Funny enough, our station manager, Ice, you know, has got kind of a thing for you. He's got, you know, he appreciates you and what you do." And she goes, "Really?" She goes, "Well, hey, I'm single." And I was like, oh shit. And she goes, "Can I see a picture of him?" And I went, okie dokie. And I got a picture and I showed it to her. And she's like, okay, I could work with that. And I was like, oh man. Oh boy. Like messaging Ice, hey man, you take a shot. You take a shot. It's there. It's open. It's being received. It's reciprocal. So anyway, so I got him a little video from her, a little how do you do, you know, wink wink. But all that to say, it was a great networking experience. I made some really good inroads, and out of that conversation, someone had asked me, like, you know, who would be, you know, some dream people to get on the show. And now, of course, I could be like Tom Cruise and, you know, fucking Chris Hemsworth and all, like, but these are all voice actors, right? And it's a small world in voice acting. And I'm like, I thought to myself, let me bring the bar down a little bit into a realm of where these are people they've worked with and could, in theory, reach out to. So I gave a list. I said, you know, there's this person, this person, this person, this person. I don't want to name names specifically, but a few of them around the table were like, oh, me and him talk all the time. I'll put in a good word for you. And then another person's like, oh, me and him, you know, fucking play pickleball together. I'll tell him to come on the show. So there's a couple names that got thrown out there where they were like, yeah, I'll tell him to do your show. Not like, let's go through his people and let's, you know, do this. It was, let me email him right now and tell him, you know, he wants you to do the show and whatnot. So Corey says, where's Mad Mike? Mad Mike had to be excused for the evening. He had things that
I punched him in his face so I could get on here.
Punched him in his face.
It's been a while.
So all that to say, because I don't like teasing things, but at the same time, we talked about this where we're trying to do the whole put it out into the universe, right? The secret, right? Speak it into existence.
Manifest it,
exactly. And so some of the names that were thrown around that they felt they were good friends with and could reach out to personally, D. Bradley Baker, who is known for a lot of different things, but specifically he's one of the most well-known voices of Wolverine. So when you think of like animated, you know, Wolverine, a lot of times it's D. Bradley Baker. I think, who's the other one? I think Steve Bloom is the other one, but he's one of the more popular Wolverines. Will Friedle, who people would remember as the older brother from Boy Meets World, but he was also the voice of Batman Beyond, one of my absolute favorite characters. John DiMaggio, who is, again, ton of voices, probably most well known for Bender on Futurama. So he's the voice of Bender. Sam Witwer, who's we're all a super huge fan of. He's done shit everything. He's been in Walking Dead. He's been in Star Wars stuff. He's done voices. He's done acting. He was in what was it, Beyond Human, which was I love that show. It was a great show. He played a vampire, perfect vampire. And then Nolan North, who again is another huge name in voice acting, most legendarily known for like Drake from Uncharted. Nathan Drake from Uncharted and a bunch of other things. So yeah, so needless to say, super excited. And you know, if we get one of those guys onto the show, it would be legendary. And yeah, so all made possible because my man King Smith rolled with me to Philadelphia, and yeah, that was good, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it a lot.
One additional thing about Philly that
Sure.
was kind of crazy to me is Cameron Monaghan, the actor that is bodied or modeled after in the Star Wars game. I think that's how you say his name. He looks just like how he is in the video game.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, he is they did a really good job in the mocap of him because he looks that's his look. For those that don't know who that is, he was also in Gotham. He played the Joker, a version of the Joker in Gotham. Jerome, I think it was. And so he's well beloved. I mean, he's apparently a great actor. Might be one of those people I was told not to reach out to because he's kind of an asshole. Anyway, so
wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. That being said, very exciting. Got a lot. Like I said, got a ton of stuff from the convention, a ton of stuff that we're going to be giving away. Couple of things of note, which I just thought. So was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago, because we didn't have a show last week. 2 weeks ago, we had on the creators of the Game of Ham, and we talked about the con exclusives that you can only get at the con. And here they are, the That's Offensive Volume 1 and Gazing into the Abyss Volume 1. Both packs signed by the creators. Yay. Here's the thing. And I know King was shocked seeing this. You can only get it at a convention. You cannot buy it online. You cannot buy it in the store. You cannot do any of that stuff. You can only get it in the convention. And a lot of us thought they were joking when they said you have to sign your life away. But there is a book at their convention, and you do have to read the rules and read the non-disclosure and sign it. And part of that is you cannot share it online, you cannot sell it, you cannot give it away, all those things. Because I was like, oh, this would be a great gag thing to play on the stream. You cannot show it online because of how very, very offensive it is. And me and King, we looked through these cards on a scale of 1 to 10 about how would you say how offensive it is?
Oh yeah, major offensive. There were some as you were reading, my mouth was like, what? Definitely offensive. I see why they have that in there.
Yes. And Greg, who's watching right now, won a free copy of Game of Ham. And he just posted, let's see, played it last weekend. Game is so fucking fun and dark. Can't imagine the con exclusive packs. Review coming soon. Yes, Greg, send me your review. I will post it. We're always looking for user generated content. However dark you think that game is, this multiplies it by a factor of like 20. These cards are truly no holds bar and absolutely phenomenally offensive. They push military humor to its limits. So there's some shit in there where, like, if somebody in uniform had said that to me, I'd be like, damn, damn, bro. Let's see. From Rex Otur, can I ask your opinion on something? Just say Rex or Rexo for my name. Yeah, Rexo. Ask away. Let's see. I'm just looking back through the comments here. Ice wants Thrawn. I will work on getting Thrawn. Do you want the voice actor of Thrawn or the um live action? Because I could try to get both. Um, what's the chances of getting the entire cast of Salute Your Shorts? Man, it's been a minute since I've even thought of that show, so I'd have to do some digging to even find out who is who is on the cast. But Z Steven says, "Hey, yo, vehicle maintenance gang from California, 2T3, get it, there, guy." Rexo wants to know, what is your opinion on furries? Mr. King, thoughts?
I think it's an interesting subset that I find it hard to not view in a very adult way. Um, that's oh man, I'm trying to figure out what to say so I don't get canceled. To each their own. I'm not against it. I think that if you're going to be a part of the furry kingdom, I think furries should just be adults with other adult furries, because there's some stuff that goes on with that. Like, like real animals, they sniff each other's hind parts, right? And from what I understand, furries act like animals. So if
In
you're
some
going to be
cases, yeah.
going around sniffing other people's hind parts, at least have it be another adult.
Yeah, I think, again, for each their own. Whatever your thing is, good for you. Do it legally. Do it safely. I think that's the main thing, right? Anytime anonymity is involved, I think things can be a little dangerous. So you have to really, mind your P's and Q's. But yeah, I mean, if that's your thing, go for it. Go for it. One other thing I'll just talk about, especially because I have you here. I want to talk about. Keith says your average furry is an introvert that does not feel comfortable in large crowds. So yeah, for the most part. But like anything, it can be abused, and bad people can get involved, and just stay safe out there. That's my thing. So this is cool. So while I was at Fan Expo Philly, there's a company called Hit Parade. You can find them online, and they deal in officially licensed autographs. Now, this specifically is a football jersey, obviously, football jersey, obvious. But they do a number of other things, cleats, basketball shoes, hockey pucks, skateboards, comic books, all the different things. They basically specialize in collecting autographed memorabilia, officially licensed by the major companies like PSA, Beckett, all the major companies. And then what they do is they basically build these mystery boxes. They do different editions, different ones. Like, so this one was the 2024 Series 1. And they're always numbered. So like this is box number 18 of 100. So they only did 100 of this series. And what I like about this, I'm not a big fan of mystery boxes because you really never know what you're going to get. But with this series, they all have barcodes, right? And they have different series. So like for jerseys alone, they have like 5 different series. Again, all numbered up to whatever, 100, 500,000. You can scan it. Then it'll take you to the website where it has the 100 athletes that are in those signatures. And so if you can look at that and go, well, the majority of those, I'd be happy to get one of those autographs, then it's worth it. You think like this was an official jersey. Just to tell you, number 18 it ended up being TJ Hawkinson, the Detroit Lions jersey for TJ Hawkinson. So it's an official like Nike jersey, what does a Nike jersey run now? Like an official, it's like 120, right?
Yeah, they're about like 160 the last I saw.
160 just for the jersey alone. So this ended up being I think we paid $240. Mm-hmm. So if you minus the 160 that the jersey cost, you're really only paying like $120 to get an authenticated, licensed signature. And so I like those odds. I like those odds. Keith, why are we talking about sports ball on this channel? The reason I bring it up, A, because this is our sports guy, but B, we got to talking with the company, one of the marketer guys at the company, and I think there is some interesting possibilities for the future. Maybe like a WTF Nation radio mystery box. And we can do, I was talking to the guy because we can do Pop Culture Warrior boxes where they're signed comics, signed movie posters, signed props, movie props or TV props or things like that. On top of the obvious, well, hey, Sports Bar can do sportsy things. So, again, just something I'm really excited about. Conversations are underway, and we'll see about making that a reality because I think that's such a cool thing. Like anybody that knows that's won a mystery box from me, I always try to throw an autographed item in there from one of my conventions that I've been to, and a signed headshot, a signed book, a signed comic, whatever. And so this would just be a way to cut out the middleman. I have, and again, you get it from me. Like, I got this autograph at a convention face to face. All I can do is tell you it's authentic. These are, licensed and authenticated and all that. So that just, again, it's just nice to have. So, any thoughts on the sports side of that? On anything, you want to say on that?
Yeah, no, I think that if we could get something like that going, especially on the sports side for me, that'll be pretty cool. The viewers should tune in on Sundays because I have a signed Drew Bledsoe one. I might actually just give it away, do a giveaway on the show. Drew Bledsoe was on the roast of Tom Brady, and if I had a sports show this past Sunday, I might have talked about it. But y'all, stay tuned in because what we're doing here at WTF Nation Radio is trying to bring value to everybody, and some of that value are things that you might find valuable as well. So stay tuned in. You never know.
You never know. I love it. I absolutely love it. And lots of really cool opportunities that I think we've got coming down the pipe. So stay tuned for that. Now, I think it's time we talk some pop culture-y nonsense. What do you think?
Nerd. Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. So first up, I think you're the perfect person to have on here to talk about this because for those that, you know what, actually, let's take a moment. Let's refamiliarize ourselves with King Smith. Who is King Smith? What is King Smith? Why is King Smith? So tell us, man. You're I know you cover the sports things, but what are things you nerd out about, man? What are things you geek out about?
Oh man, I play video games during my spare time. That's my thing. I've been recently, just like you, excited about this whole X-Men 97. I think that series and what they've done, bringing that up to speed with a modern twist is fantastic. When I'm gaming, I'm playing World of Warcraft, nerd. On the Xbox side of the house, Dead by Daylight. I'm looking forward to the new NCAA Football 25 here that's coming out. The unofficial trailer dropped today, and that's it. That's kind of like my nerd thing is just gaming. It's how I relax.
I think something that you're also very proficient on is money and investing and stocks and crypto and things like that. And
yeah, I stay watching the markets.
Yes. So perfect collaboration here between your passion and ours here at Pop Culture Warrior is this whole dumb money situation. Roaring Kitty, for those that don't remember, a couple years ago, Roaring Kitty was this guy who basically is like, GameStop to the moon, and got hundreds of thousands of people to rally behind it and sent that stock from like $3 to like, what was it, like 180 or something like that per stock. It went absolutely insane. So you think, if you put in $10,000 when it was at $3 and it shoots up to 180, you're a fucking millionaire. Recently, a couple days ago, or just a few days ago, Roaring Kitty made his return online for the first time in over 3 years. And basically, it was just kind of a mischievous tweet of the meme, that sit up and I'm
Yep.
paying attention meme.
Uh-huh.
And literally that's all it took. And GameStop and AMC shares went through the roof. So I was hoping, as someone who, knows this stuff kind of inside and out and watches this stuff, take us through it. Why did this happen? What are we expecting? What are you hearing? What are the rumblings?
All right. So back when everything went down in 2021, it started with Roaring Kitty, right? And I was new to Reddit, never really used Reddit, had heard about it. I didn't quite know how it worked. But inside of this subreddit called Wall Street Bets, people were talking about how to do short squeezes and essentially, I'm going to say the words, manipulate the market to make some of these stocks rise. And the recipients of that was the two big ones anyway, was GameStop and AMC. Now there were a couple of other ones, businesses that aren't, active now, like Bath and Body Works, right? So people were calling these meme stocks, meaning that there was no significant reason that the value of these stocks were going up, other than the average person was trying to squeeze the money out of the big financial corporations and things that were betting on these stocks decreasing. All right. And without getting into the whole technicals of what a short squeeze is, essentially they started buying up a shit ton of the stock to drive the price up and force some of these big financial corporations that were betting on the fall to have to cover a lot of that money. So there was a couple of months that AMC and GameStop made people millionaires. I'm talking printed money for several people. It caused a lot of the trading platforms to halt it at some point. On one of the biggest ones, which I use, is Robinhood. That's like the average person's retail trading platform. But if you got in on it early, you made money. Now, shortly after kind of all the hype and stuff died down, nobody heard from Roaring Kitty. His social media was silent. And then just this past weekend, that meme of the gamer, right, which I saw it and immediately went to Robinhood. And I did a couple of options trading in both AMC and GameStop. And I had a little bit of scared money. So I didn't make a lot of money, but I made a pretty decent penny on just the photo of what I saw. I just make the immediate move. I could have lost money and it would have been what it was. But on Monday, when the stock market opened, AMC and GameStop shot up.
Now, what do you think? Is it going to continue to rise? I know this is, by the way, full disclosure, this is not financial advice.
Not financial
We are
advice.
not telling you to get involved and spend your money. We're just speculating and, what could and feasibilities and whatnot. So what do you think? Do you think we're going to see this continue to rise, or we're going to see it die out?
I think if you were some people that got into the markets early Monday and at the close of the market today, congratulations, you got lucky. I think the hype's going to be here maybe this week. I'd be skeptical going into next week, but I think folks that got in and made their money, they were happy. They've already closed their trading option positions and were extremely happy with the profits that they made. I don't think it's going to go as long as it did, like the last rally happened in 2021.
Right.
I missed that rally, by the way, but it got me to start looking at, what does it mean? How do I get this information as well? And I started following certain people because I'm like, hey, I want to know what the money is looking at. So I started following where all of the money started, following on platforms like X and Reddit on Wall Street Bets.
Yeah. As Keith says, it's a big example of how the big dogs can still change the rules. And that's where some folks learned the hard way about margin call. They learned about margin calls the hard way.
Yeah.
and France, we're talking about the stock where is GameStop and AMC doing the rise because of just really on the power of Roaring Kitty. And did you see Dumb Money? Did you see that movie? It was good. It was really good.
No. I actually need to watch it. There are several people that say, "Yo, you got to check it out."
Yeah, I think it gives you an appreciation for I don't know. It gives you an appreciation for what happened, but also like it makes you mad because you see the level of pressure that people with money are able to influence these situations. Because the whole thing of Robinhood, blocking the ability to buy and sell. The movie very much alludes to that this was pressure that came from these billionaire hedge fund owners and all that said like they put the squeeze on them and they're like, if you don't stop this, we're gonna limit your ability to do business. And so they panicked and they pulled the trigger, and then that sent a whole cascade of things tumbling. But yeah, it's a really fascinating story and movie. So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how long this lasts. Go ahead.
One quick thing to add too. I was recently surprised when the markets and stuff opened Monday and both GameStop and AMC shot up. Some trading platforms halted the trading of GameStop and AMC. Robinhood, who bundled it the last time, actually put out a little banner, and I saw it that said, while other platforms have halted trading, we have it, because Robinhood stock dropped during the last time because a lot of angry people were like, hey, we can't get in the money like everybody else. They got pissed. I think that Robinhood did the right thing, learning from that, going, yeah, we ain't about to have this happen round two.
Yep. And so that was a big outcome of that whole thing. There was a big shakeup at Robinhood and what happened after what happened. And so yeah, in my notes here, it said, GameStop and AMC shares surged so violently it triggered a market-wide stock sale halt, which again, it doesn't seem fair, right? It's essentially, you go to a casino and realize that one of the machines is just hitting, and then all of a sudden they, the casino just walks over and unplugs it, right? And is like, they're like, nope, can't have that. Which, again, I get, Robinhood owns their ability to buy, you know what I mean? Like they're a, whatever you call it, a middle person. So like, can they legally do it? I guess. Is it ethical? Morally gray, maybe. So anyway, I think that it's interesting to see how all this is going to shake loose again. I never thought we'd be here again just so soon after. And yeah. So, any last thoughts on that AMC GameStop stock? Any last thoughts?
No, man, that pretty much covered it. If I could share my screen, which I'd have to send it to myself, I would actually show how much money I made. It wasn't a lot. It was, I made a profit,
right?
But I was gonna ship. I had the potential. I'll just tell you. I thought about doing a $2,000 trading option position that, had I closed when I wanted to or closed when I did, I could have turned $2,000 to $50,000. And I had scared money, so I did a lot less than that because I had scared money. Whew. It is what it is. Again, not financial advice, but don't risk to trade what you can't afford to lose.
Amen indeed. Be careful out there, folks. It is a dangerous game. And honestly, again, this goes back to like, I do think in certain aspects the deck is stacked against you. And so it's not built for the little guy to do well. Maybe that's how it was initially created, but I think over time it's definitely changed in that it's not built for the little guy anymore. But moving right along, enough about that. Let's talk some actual pop culture news. I'm very, you kind of alluded to it. The X-Men 97, man. X-Men 97 has been phenomenal. I think tomorrow's the final episode of the season. Super pumped for that. Super pumped for that. Couple things. Have you seen the story of the X-Men mansion on Airbnb? Have you seen this? Oh my God. So, I was gonna say Netflix. Airbnb, they did this big thing, like the Apple showcase kind of thing. They did their own version of a showcase, making all these changes. One of the things they wanted to lean heavily into is basically building homes to model certain properties, licensed properties. The house from Up is one of them, where you can if you're a super fan of that, and they gave a whole list. There was like Frozen and a bunch of different things. The house is Up is one I can think, but one of them was the X Mansion. So I want you to watch this for all of you at home who have no idea what I'm talking about. You just watch, and there's no sound, by the way, or there's a little sound, but don't imagine the X-Men theme playing. I couldn't legally use it, but just imagine the X-Men theme is playing when you watch this.
Bitch and fly off in it.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was a virtual tour through the X Mansion. Thoughts, King? It's your first time seeing it, man. Thoughts?
Dude, that's dope. Like, does Airbnb have to have like a license to be able to do that stuff?
I would say so. They've put like this. This has to be legal. Like, it's one thing to allude. But they straight, like, that says Xavier's Mansion, it says Cyclops, it says Wolverine, so they're using trademark images and names, so that would have to be licensed, yeah.
And the investment better be worth it then. I'm curious what it would cost to rent that bad boy. Did you ever find out where that specific one is located?
I gotta Google that. You're the co-host. Google some shit. I'm running a show here.
Here you go.
That's your job.
Westchester, New York.
Which in the comics, Xavier's Institute was in Westchester, New York. So that tracks. I think that's incredible that they did that. But yeah, there's a list. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Airbnb be licensed. Licensed. I don't know. What are you licensed?
All bookings for that specific one has been closed.
Yeah, I'm sure they're booked to like Kingdom Come. Let's see. I'm trying to think what would be. Oh man, what was the like? What was the term for it? Oh goddamn. Damn, I'm trying to think. There was a term for it where they're using like it was like the experience.
The icons line.
Maybe Airbnb icons. Icons licensed properties. There you go. Okay, so 2024 summer release. Airbnb introduces icons, extraordinary experience from world's greatest icons. The Up House, the Ferrari Museum, X-Men 97, VIP Kevin Hart, Wake Up in the Musée d'Orsay. I don't know what that is. Living room session with Doja Cat. Prince's Purple Rain House. I'm trying to see what else. Purple Rain House.
The
Game
Home
with
Alone
Kobe
place.
Lamb. Go on a tour with Feed. Live with Bollywood star Jahavi Kapoor. Core Memories, the Inside Out experience. Yeah.
Arby's Malibu Dream House.
Yeah, they're doing a whole series of them. And these are just the first 11 that are announced, and they said there's more to come. So
Nice.
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. Like I think the X-Men mansion, they nailed it. 100% they nailed it. I know I saw pictures of the Up House, and that was really well done. I haven't seen the rest of them, but I can only imagine they're going to be really, really, really good. So excited for that, man. Like that's cool. Spawn Ranch. That would be cool if you could Michael Myers house. Oh God. Oh God.
Nope, y'all can have that one. Whoever
Yeah.
said that.
I'm like, you asked for some horror stuff. Like that's gonna be yeah, I'm good. I got enough of that shit in my life. The Enterprise. Oh, that's a good one. The Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would drop.
If they're
drop the black
working
card for that one.
If they're working Marvel, I mean shit, Star Wars, right? Death Star, Millennium Falcon as a house, you know? I think those could be. I'm sure they've got some type of Star Wars one worked out.
I hope I don't steal your thunder.
Please.
Do you know what today is in relation to Star Wars?
May the 14th be with you.
George Lucas turned 80 today.
Oh God bless. George Lucas turned 80 years old. I should have like a sound effect for like a blowing up a birthday horn, like. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think that's working, but anyway, yes, so that's awesome. Oh, and while we're on X-Men, because why not? This is pretty damn cool. I don't know if you've seen this, because obviously X-Men fever is kind of driving everybody right now. Where the heck do I have it? There it is. Check this out. This is the new limited edition X-Men 97 Xbox Series X with an all-exclusive story painted on it. And it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And now it does, I don't know if it comes with the controller, but check this out. Here is the line of X-Men controllers available. So you can play as your favorite character color scheme: Wolverine, Beast, Gambit, Morph, Jubilee, Jean Grey, Magneto, Storm, Cyclops, Rogue, and Bishop. I mean, yeah. See, folks, you can't see it, but my man's mouth is wide open right now. Yes. So let's one more time. Let's look at that beautiful Xbox. And it's just gorgeous. It's a literal comic book page come to life. It's gorgeous. It's so like that's a work of art. That's a work of art. The controllers, meh. You know, you can
Bump that.
they're
To
controllers.
my lady, Father's Day is coming up. She asked me what I wanted. I want the Magneto controller.
the Magnus.
That's it.
The Magnus.
That's it. I
I
want
thought-
a Magneto Xbox 97
Yeah.
controller.
Yeah, like if I'm looking at them and I'm like, man, if I wanted one of these, which one realistically would be the one that I'd want? I'm not a fan of the yellows.
Mm.
And the Gambit is it's tough. I think the Magneto it looks the most clean. Like the least amount of like kind of messy. The Storm was nice. Is it the red? The red throws me off, man.
Yeah, that red D-pad. And then like Morse colors, I think that color scheme goes well together.
Yeah. Leon says, "You take Jubilee, really? Jubilee? I mean, it's nice. It's nice colors." But yeah, it's a great line. I mean, they really killed it with the line of controllers. I'm curious to see what the return on this kind of investment is. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So the X-Men, the box though, right? That box is gorgeous.
That's
Absolutely gorgeous. I saw that and I was like, man, if there was a way, if there was,
you got it. Do it.
I don't know, man. Anyway, moving on. Since we're on X-Men, there is let's keep the trend going. There's a lot of X-Men news. A reliable insider, like an industry insider, this guy that goes by the handle V Scooper on Twitter.
Okay.
He's reporting that there are 2 X-Men games in development, not counting the Wolverine game that was already leaked. So that there's 2 actual X-Men games. We don't have any other information outside of that. But I love what comic book game. There's 2 trends simultaneously going because you have these really good games like the Batman Arkham series. A lot of people don't like Midnight Suns. I liked it. It's different. It's not the same usual. And then you have these, the live action service games or the live service games. The Avengers, Justice League, kills whatever, blah blah blah. So they're hit and miss when it comes to superhero games lately. But then you have like your Spider-Mans. Your Spider-Mans are good. So I don't know. I'm excited at the prospect of an X-Men game. Give me an X-Men game of the caliber of the Spider-Man games, of the caliber of the Batman Arkham games. I think it'd be good.
Yeah. I would like to see more of like the open world GTA style way of giving you like the X-Men game and then having it themed like a comic, where you give content updates in the form of like how you would give a comic series update. I mean, I wouldn't mind a subscription service if they kept the game fresh like that, like the game City of Heroes and City of Villains. I don't know if you ever played that. I'm a big MMO RPG kind of guy,
Right.
and they were able to do that pretty good for as long as the game stayed active. If X-Men could do that, sign me up.
There was Lego, believe it or not, did a really good series of like Marvel games. They were Lego Marvel games, Lego Marvel Universe style games.
Mhm.
And the whole idea was that it's an open world and then you can go on different missions. Now, obviously, it was Lego, it was very cutesy and silly, but like if you take that concept and just make it AAA, like you make it, big publisher and whatnot. I mean, I think it could be successful. I think it can be. It can be done. I don't know. I don't know. I have thoughts. Greg says, just don't pull the Telltale Games Walking Dead style game. Insomniac has to do one. Yeah. Scott says, speaking of Marvel games, how about the controversy on Marvel Rivals? So if by controversy, because the only controversy I can think of is that people are saying, oh, it's just a, Apex clone, or not Apex, what's the other one? Overwatch. It's an Overwatch clone. Thoughts?
I saw, as far as controversy goes, specific to Marvel Rivals, that they were telling all of their content creators you can only release positive news.
Right. That's right.
That's
You're
what
right.
I saw. I'm not sure if he's talking about that, but that's what I saw.
Yes, Scott, if you could clarify, but let's speak on that. So there was a story that came out, or not even a story, it's a clip of, so for people, in order for people to get alpha access to the game link, to the game, they had to agree to a disclosure. And one of the disclosure was you cannot say disparaging things about the game and yada, yada, yada. How do we feel about that? Because I'm of two minds, and here's where I'm split. Because part of me says, well, if you're going to let me play this game and I'm a reviewer, then it is inherently my responsibility to be honest about what I think. That being said, if I own the game and I'm giving you free access to play a alpha, meaning an early version of the game, with the expressed directive, because like if they said you cannot share it at all, nothing about it, this is private, I don't think people would be up in arms about it, right? Like, well, it's review blocked, it's embargoed. That's a normal, for those that don't know this, in the business, review embargoes are a normal everyday thing. I get access to a lot of shows and movies and things before they're released. And a lot of the time they'll say, this is the date you can talk about it, right? Before that, you're embargoed, you can't talk about it. It's a normal business practice. So if anything, I would say Marvel was being nice, letting people stream it as long as they're not going to talk disparagingly about it, or I think the other thing was comparing it to other similar game styles. Mm-hmm. Right. So yes, Scott, that's exactly, you're right. Scott is about the disparaging game remarks. He says access to a game for return of only positive reviews, I think is a bit scummy. But here's the thing. They're not saying you can only give positive reviews. They're not saying that. Like, they're saying you can't give negative reviews. There's a difference, right? Me saying you can play this game, but you have to give it a positive review, versus me saying you can play this game, but you cannot give it a negative review. I believe there's a difference. Some might argue that it's not. I believe there's a difference. I think it's just one saying like, hey, we don't want to, we're allowing you an opportunity to play this game. We're testing it. We want to hear your feedback, right? Because they didn't say you can't be constructive, like, oh, I think this should be improved. And it's just like, you can't say, this is a piece of shit. Fuck this game. It's just an Overwatch clone. Like, that's what they're trying to avoid. And I honestly don't think that they're going to like ban people for life if they said one or two negative remarks. It's a whole thing if you're trying to capitalize on the game and calling it out and whatever, glitches and bugs and things like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts, King? What are your thoughts?
I'm never of the side that if I'm going to be given something and saying that if I'm going to review it, that I can't say anything disparaging, then I'm just not going to talk about it, because I'm the type of person that I think something should be fair. Marquise Brownlee, one of the biggest names in tech reviewers out there, he recently took an object and basically said it is not ready for the public, essentially, right?
And it's way overpriced.
And oh man, it made people just say that, oh, like this guy's tanking this product and things like that. But I'm like, no, he gave an objective, fair review of the product through, his wording or whatnot. And for Marvel to come out and kind of essentially say that if you're going to review this, that you can't say anything, engage in discussions that are detrimental to the reputation of the game. That's bullshit to me. I'd rather be like, F you, I'm not even going to review it until it comes out, and then you still gonna get my honest opinion.
So let me throw this at you, because I know how your mind works, right? So let me throw this. If I told you play the game, and if you really don't like it, just keep repeating, I am not allowed to talk disparagingly about this game. You play more, I am not allowed to talk disparagingly about this game. And so that way, technically, you are not, right? You're not saying anything. You were just pointing out.
I am making a statement.
I'm making a statement by not making a statement.
Absolutely do that. Yep. 100% would do that.
Captain Petty, reporting for duty.
Reporting for duty.
I just think it's within their right, only because it's an alpha build. You're not paying for it. And like I said, in the industry, review embargoes are a thing. That is a totally normal thing. Because when that game comes out, you can talk shit about it all you want. But they're like, you're going to pay your $60 if you want to bash our game. You know what I mean? Don't let us give you a game for free and then you bash it before we even have a chance to get it ready for the public.
Yeah.
And like Scott says, I mean, you get put on a watch list, man. Like, you get blacklisted and you ain't gonna be getting no games anymore. And like Greg says, we do live in a world where people will bomb games and movies just out of spite, just because they don't like the actor or actress or director or the choice to gender swap or whatever it is. They'll just review bomb shit just because.
But that's obvious though. Yeah. Like I think if you have a reputation of being fair, right, then you can weed out those that, well, I don't know this person. They don't have no identity on the internet, so I'm not going to trust shit that they say, versus a CQ of Pop Culture Warrior who reviews things fairly.
I mean, if it was me, and we may or may not have someone here at the station who has an alpha access to the game and has been streaming himself playing it, and we can co-op Saturday nights with Nemo. So I'm like, here's the thing. If I'm watching someone play it and they're not saying disparaging things, but with my own eyeballs, I can see the game is trash or not fun, or, you know what I mean? So, like, I could make my own opinions based off my two eyeballs. But, I don't know. That to me that's a CYA, right? That's a cover your ass, because I feel like there are people going, and honestly, most of the reviews I've seen are positive. Most of the people playing it, maybe that's because they have to say it's positive. But for the most part, like, I've seen people not give a shit, and they're like, it's an Overwatch clone, but I like that they did this, and this. Or hey, it's decent and it's alpha, so it's got time to get better. So I don't know. I try to think, if it. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn on this one because I can see both sides of it, right? You want honest reviews, but at the same time, if I'm giving you a product and I'm saying, hey, I want you to test this so that I can get feedback to make it better, but please don't shit on it before it's ready. I think that's that's an arrangement. That is a I don't know what you want to call it, a deal made between, player and company. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my thought. They're giving you something for free. You can't be bitching about it. Anyway, couple more things Marvel related. Thanks for bringing that up. I don't know, if it was Scott or Charles or whatever.
That's a good question.
But it was a great question. Uh, a couple more Marvel things that I had listed here is because we talked about X-Men games. Yes, here we are. So this is MCU related, which I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this official announcement. Now, according to the Disney CEO Bob Iger, Marvel will be scaling back how many films and TV products it releases per year.
I saw that.
This is great news. Honestly, I think they could take it a step further, but they are saying
I was hoping you explained this because I didn't get it. I didn't get the why.
So they are going to cap out, and they're capping out and saying no more than 3 movies per year and 2 shows per year. That will be that's the limit moving forward. Personally, I think they should take it a step further. I think 2 movies a year, and I think 2 shows is reasonable. But I think 2 movies, 2 shows a year, and like Greg just said it, quality over quantity. Make better shit. When they were making 1 to 2 movies a year, people loved it. And it wasn't until they started throwing out 4, 5 movies a year, plus 4 or 5 series, that people were like, man, superhero fatigue. And like, there was a dip in the quality. Like, let's call it what it is. You know, in the beginning of Marvel, the MCU, you had the comic book people making movies. And like, you had the people that know this stuff better than anyone making the movies. And the producers were in line, and the directors were in line, and the actors were in line, and everybody was cohesive. And what happened is they started making so much product, and Feige and all of them have agreed, and they called it out. Like, we can't be everywhere. So like, I have to, like, hey, you're going to go make that Marvel movie? Like, what are you thinking? Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. Like, show me it when it's done. And like, they run off and do it, and then they come back and it's like, oh shit, we need a lot of reshoots because this is not what I thought it was going to be, because they're not there day to day, you know, kind of structuring it and seeing the dailies and approving everything. And so it just, you're watering down the brand and watering down the product. Does that mean, because when they started doing more, it meant for the opportunity for other characters to get the spotlight, right? Because we're not going to keep getting Spider-Man movies and keep getting Iron Man movies and keep getting whatever. Like, this allowed us to get Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange and Black Panther and, you know, Ant-Man and people that don't normally get the spotlight. It allowed them, you know, having more movies allowed them to tell more stories. But I think that just means there's just a bigger space between movies. I think they're going to have to put in some time into some younger talent. Because if you sign a 53-year-old Iron Man and you're like, well, you're only going to make 1 movie every 5 or 6 years, they're going to age out of the role real fast. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's 50-50, but I do think that we will see better content when it's spaced out. I feel it in my bones. With Deadpool coming out, I feel like that's going to get us back on track. You know, we know eventually they're going to do, you know, Avengers Secret Wars and all that. Like, I just, oh
Man, but then, man, there's so many good stories in these universes. How do you tell those? Like, there's stories out there of superheroes and villains that people don't really know about unless you're deep into the comics and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think you're then limited to, well, what's going to be the commercial success, right? Those names that people know. You can't just reach into deep into the bag and pull out Squid Man and try to market that one, you know.
So
I think you can tell more stories.
But
if you put out more.
so here's what I would say. If you're limiting it to 3 movies, you do 2 bankable projects and the one that is new or the one that is less heard of. You know what I mean? The one that you're just not sure on. and you do that every year, right? You know, are two bankable products that we know these are, you know, your Iron Man, your Avengers, like these are bankable financial Spider-Mans, things like that. And then throw in that one, you know, Doctor Strange, that Ant-Man, that Black Panther, whatever, that's a lesser known property that's maybe just starting. And then utilizing the TV series to tell more of those stories, right? Because I think the movies are great for having the action and you know, in your face and whatever, and then the series are really good opportunity to tell more of those character driven narratives, tell more of the street hero stuff. You know, your Daredevils, your Punishers, your, you know, your Moon Knights. Those are street level characters that are better suited for smaller, more impactful chunks of episodes versus, you know, your big blockbuster superhero movie. But I think it's a scaling issue. I really think it's a scaling issue. Once Avengers kind of opened the door to say like, oh, the world is just a tiny, you know, blue marble in this big tapestry of aliens and monsters and all these things, the threats had to keep getting bigger, right? Because the stakes have to keep getting bigger, and therefore, you know, it's one of those things. Scaling's an issue. I mean, we've killed half the universe in Infinity War. It's like, how do you keep scaling that up? Like, now we're gonna kill the whole universe? Like, you know, we've time traveled. Once you start time traveling, well, everything's in play because, well, if this guy died, I could just time travel. I can go back and do it again. And so, it's a tough thing to maneuver around and dance around. But I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling that after this year, Marvel's going to get back on track. There's a lot of things in the works. The Blades, you know, the Blade movie, Fantastic Four movie. We know X-Men's coming. And that's going to be I have a feeling that's going to be a real shake-up for Marvel is when they do live-action X-Men that doesn't have fucking Hugh Jackman and all these other guys that are known for it. Speaking of which, little bird says that Marvel is starting to reach out to certain actors and actresses to play some pivotal roles. One of the people that has been talked about quite frequently is, I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Janelle Monáe. I don't know if you know who that is. She's a singer and actress. Yeah, she was. She did a role in Hidden Figures. Great movie, by the way. Absolutely great movie. And I have here. Oh yeah, there it is. Let me pull this up. So she is currently reportedly in talks with Marvel to play Storm in the X-Men, which I can see it. I can see
that. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's an excellent choice. I wonder how hard she goes on the accent, right? Because there's different versions of Storm. There's very thick, you know, African accent Storm, you know, who talks very Shakespearean. By the winds of the mother nature, I storm upon thee a lightning bolt. You know, it's very, very old English, but like very African native language. And then we've seen like Halle Berry's version, which is like she's from New Jersey for some reason. And yeah, so I'm interested. I think it's a great choice. I think if they decide to go with it, I think it's a great choice. And yeah, Wayne says she's from Kansas City, Missouri. Ooh, okay. Go Kansas City. But I like this casting. I do. If this goes through, if this becomes a thing, I do think that so the report is that she is currently in talks with Marvel for a quote unquote big MCU role. I mean, can you see her really playing anybody else a big role in the MCU? I think Storm's the one.
Yeah.
I think Storm's the one.
Make that happen.
Make it happen, Captain. So yeah. So that's exciting news. Good for her. I hope she gets it because that would be amazing. And let's see what else. There are a couple more things. Actually, a lot of Marvel news. Yeah, here we go. A couple more pieces that I'm excited about. So, going from Marvel news, let's talk about fantastic news. See what I did there? Fantastic news. So, the Fantastic Four movie is already being worked on. We already know who's playing Reed and Sue Storm and Johnny Storm and the Thing. We already got that. The latest announcements. I don't know if you've heard this. The latest is that the already star-studded Fantastic Four movie is adding even more power. John Malkovich is now cast in a mystery role. I would assume he's not going to be playing like Victor Von Doom. I seriously doubt that. And I think I'm imagining he's got to be like, what role would he play? I don't know. He's got to be a villain, first of all, because I feel like anytime you don't have John Malkovich as the villain, you're wasting talent. I mean, honestly, John Malkovich is a supreme talent, but plays just the best villain. Oh God, like he was in Space Force, and he was like a scientist, but he wasn't like good or bad. He was kind of like morally gray scientist, and I felt like he was good, but like that's not his wheelhouse. That's not where he really sells. And I think he would kill. Wayne says he's going to be a villain for sure. Obviously. Now, at first, I thought he might be playing. I mean, I first thought Victor Von Doom, and I was like, no way. But I thought Galactus, maybe.
I could see Galactus,
and that's what I thought until report comes out confirmed that the villain in MCU's upcoming Fast Furious 4 will be Galactus. He will be the main villain, played by British actor Ralph Ineson, who has credits in Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and so much more. Phenomenal actor. Absolutely phenomenal actor, and I think he will kill it. Literally and figuratively, I think he will kill it as Galactus. So Galactus is off the board. Still unidentified what role John Malkovich is playing. Another person that they just announced that was casted is a guy named Paul Walter Hauser, which you've seen Cobra Kai, right? The show Cobra Kai. Remember the chubby guy that he's an adult doing karate with all the little kids. He grows the little beard. That's Paul Walter Hauser.
The round face.
Yes. Didn't he go by like not Cobra? What was his like code name? Was like Scorpion or I don't know, something stupid, something dumb. But yeah, he's something stupid. But great actor, phenomenal actor, really funny actor. So he's been announced to play a role, again, unannounced what the role will be. For me, I have two thoughts. Knowing him, because there's the acting component of it, and then there's like the physical embodiment. So the physical embodiment, I could totally see him playing like a Mole Man character, like because in the comics, Mole Man was actually the first villain that the Fantastic Four ever fought. So I thought, and he could be more like a cameo character where like he's their first villain, but like they're like and like knock him because he's whatever, and then they go on to fight Galactus, who's a more a good foe to fight for whatever. But the other speculation a lot of people have is if you've seen the poster, you know Herbie, the little robot, is going to be a character within the universe. So some people are saying, well, he could be the voice of Herbie. Right, he can, knowing his voice, I think he's got great comedic talent. I don't know if his voice screams, robot assistant. I don't know if that doesn't, because he's a very like, hey guys, hey, like he's very lower, raspier, growlier voice. If anything, I would have said he'd been a great voice for like The Thing, but whatever. So those are some new announcements as far as who's playing what. The more that comes out about this movie, the more excited I am about it, because They have a phenomenal cast put together. They have an incredible writing team. They have Marvel, who is desperate for this to re-cement them as the storytelling superhero genre juggernaut that they rightfully are. They have a lot riding on this. If they mess up Deadpool 3, right? If they just, for whatever reason, it is just a dud. And because what's next? What's next after that one? The next Marvel movie is, there's something before Fantastic Four. Fuck. Captain America. I'm already nervous about Captain America.
Why?
4. Why? Oh, let me count the ways. Already Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't super well received, right? Again, I didn't think it was bad. I personally didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty good. There were a lot of changes that were made because, again, this was during the COVID time, so they had to like, it was like right when COVID hit, and so they had to make a lot of changes in certain storylines and things, which I think affected the end product. That being said, I don't feel like a lot of people are on board with Sam Wilson as being Captain America. Call it what you will. You might say it's a racial thing, whatever.
Because he's black. No.
It's because he's black. But no, I think me and Nemo were talking about this during one of the game nights, in that he's not a superpowered individual. You are asking him to step in the role of super soldier, and you are just black dude with a frisbee. Like, that's a now, from what I've heard, that's an opportunity that they're using within the story to be like, this is a dude that can get messed up. This is a dude that is choosing to do something that was easy for someone else. It was easy for Steve Rogers to be Captain America because he's a super soldier.
Because he was souped up.
He was souped up. He's on the roids. And so this is a normal, regular guy who has to train harder and more and has to take the lumps and the beatings in order to fulfill his role. So there's that part of it. The other thing is the whole William Hurt, the actor, dies, and they had to bring in someone to play William Thaddeus Ross because it was a pivotal character moving forward in the universe. And you bring in Harrison Ford. Now, and I get it, Harrison Ford's a huge name, but the motherfucker's like 97 years old. And it's just like, Hulk. You know, like, I think Harrison Ford was a phenomenal actor, amazing legacy, a career that you can stack up against anybody. But I think he should have stopped acting about 20 years ago. I think he should have hung it up. You did your thing. I mean, you don't need the money. You definitely don't need the money. I've seen interviews where he literally says, like, I do this because I just have nothing better to do. Like, he's like, as long as they're going to keep giving me stuff, I'll keep acting. And, like, that's not a real good reason to do it. Just because you're bored. Like,
yeah.
I saw the Indiana Jones movies, the last 2 of them. Like, anybody out there, I mean, please, by all means, call me out on this. What is the last best Harrison Ford movie? Because I'm struggling here. I mean, like, the last thing I think I saw him in where I was like, man, I really enjoyed that was like, what was it called? What Lies Beneath? Him and Michelle Pfeiffer. And even in that movie, I remember, and this was going like 2000 and whatever, 6,
yeah,
7.
that was like early 2000s.
Early 2000s. And
I was still in high school.
I remember thinking like, man, this dude's old. Like, and that was in like 2006. And I
think for me, it would be Air Force One, and that came out before What Lies Beneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he hasn't. He says American Graffiti. Add Harrison Ford to the people that will never be on this show. Absolutely, 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 deservedly so. But I just like he doesn't give a shit anymore. And at that point, you're not acting. You know what I mean? You're not putting your love into the craft. Look at what people will your Heath Ledgers and you're like people that will Christian Bale who will literally transform his body, to do a role or people Leonardo DiCaprio's that really put their all into it, and then I just see Harrison Ford just stumble across the room, and then stumble across the room and.
Would you say that Liam Neeson is comparatively like Harrison Ford? Like, I know that Liam Neeson's known for Taken, but I also haven't really seen a range with Liam Neeson as well.
Liam Neeson, I think is in that category of like it's time to hang it up, because they tried to make him a action star at 70 or whatever it is. But I will say I've seen him with range. I've seen him. He was in one of the greatest romance movies of all time, which was what was the one? God, where the different stories all come together for the Christmas. I don't know. It's one of those rom-com Christmassy movies. Um, a bunch of stars are in it, and anyway, long story short, he played like a love interest in that movie and was kind of goofy and kind of silly and whatever. Andrew Lincoln was in that one. He was before Walking Dead. Rick Grimes. Anyway, don't forget Jack Nicholson is almost 137 and still acting. Yeah. There's if you have trouble walking, you shouldn't be in an action movie. Period. I don't want to knock just Harrison Ford because there's a dude. They got to a point where God bless him. Die Hard, fucking Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Like right now he's suffering from dementia. He's really going through it. But I'm even talking 5-10 years ago when you saw him in like The Expendables, which I think he had like a couple minutes in one of them. And those movies, like, he just didn't look the same. There was a thing that came out, Looper. Was it Looper? Not Looper. Yeah, Looper. The one where him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's playing like a younger version of him, and they send him back in time, and he has to deal with his future self, and all this and all that. For most that remember that movie, there's a diner scene, multiple diner scenes, and the lady's like bringing out coffee to him. And she went on record and she goes, he didn't know where he was most of the time. Like, she's like, I would bring him the coffee and he would go, I didn't order any coffee. Like, thinking he's really in a diner, and she would go, oh, yes, you did. And she goes, like, he would just go, oh, sorry. And then he would start to drink it. And then, like, dude, this is acting. You're not actually 52 cups of coffee. You're going to be sick. And they're like, that he had a handler that would literally between takes, like, take him and go, okay, we're going to go over here now. And then, like, he had an earbud because he couldn't remember his lines. So they were feeding him his lines. And so he had to have, like, it's sad. It's sad, but like at a certain point, stop.
Yeah.
Because for every, Gran Torino that had this great Clint Eastwood at like fucking 97 or whatever he was, for every one of those, you have a lot of these guys that are just, I don't know. Anyway, we're going way off tangent here, but it just, God bless him. I just feel bad. I do. Denzel, first of all, Charles, come on, Denzel Washington? My man. He is still killing it. Still bringing it up. I will defend Denzel Washington to the day I die. There are many people that need to hang it up. Denzel ain't one of them. Robert Duvall's a really good one. Yeah, great actor. Robert Duvall, I can, you need to be able to act. And I think you need to care about your craft. And like Robert Duvall strikes me as someone that even at his age is still like passionate about it. The same way Clint Eastwood is. But again, don't sell me on an action. I love Keanu Reeves and I think he's a great action star. But if he's 82 I don't want to see him be doing kung fu kick flips and shit. You know. There you go. Scott says, not about age, it's about effort and commitment. Agreed. There was a great thing about, again, not to bash on Bruce Willis, but Kevin Smith did a movie with Bruce Willis, Cop Out. It's one of the few things he really regrets in his life. He says it was the worst time working with an actor. He said Bruce Willis was a pill to work with, just did not like it. Bruce Willis would just tell him he wasn't like, he'd be like, all right, in this scene, you're running from the explosion. And Bruce Willis would be like, no. And they're like, what do you mean no? He's like, I'm going to walk. And they're like, it's an explosion. You should run from it. And he's like, nah, I think my character would walk. And he's like, it just felt like a lot of, now he's gone on record saying that this might've been when he was starting to have his decline and that he didn't know a lot of the things he was struggling with. And it was probably connected. That was made, you know, it was probably connected to physical and mental things that he was going through. But at the same time, nobody knew that. So this guy's an asshole to work with. And so, you know, but he was like, he wouldn't show up to set and he'd stay in his trailer and he'd be napping and all these different, you know, things. But again, we don't know health things and how they're connected. But anyway, long story short, why, to go back to goddamn ADHD, to go back to where we started, why I thought Captain America Brave New World is going to suffer a bit. They've already reported about reshoots, which is never a good sign. And again, Harrison Ford stepping in for William Hurt, who was crushing the role, absolutely crushing the role. And then, and we're teeing him up to be a big thing, only to then be, you know, pass away and then be replaced. It was rumored he was going to be Red Hulk in this movie. Now it's basically confirmed because of that whole McDonald toy scandal. So we know Red Hulk is in it. We know, unless they try to pull a fast one, we know it's going to be Harrison Ford's character. Can you see Harrison Ford as Red Hulk?
No.
Really?
No.
Right?
No.
So even if you say, well, it's a CGI Hulk, okay, but is he going to voice? Imagine big, burly Red Hulk voiced by Smash. Like, you're like, what, dude? Like, let's be honest, he puts no voice, no effort into it anymore. So at that point, if he's just the physical representation of the man, it is what it is. Again, my issue, and this goes back to our conversation last week. I don't think you saw it, but already because of the leaked toy, we know Red Hulk doesn't have the mustache, which William Hurt, phenomenal mustache, perfect Thaddeus Ross mustache. Harrison Ford refuses to grow a mustache. So when he took the role, like, they're like, well, let's do them. And he's, no, I don't do mustaches. And so now Thaddeus Ross doesn't have a mustache, which then means you can't have Red Hulk have a mustache because that would make no sense. Where the fuck did the mustache come from, right? It's supposed to be like it's there and then he hulks out and now it's a big Hulk mustache. But you can't have the Hulk mustache if you don't have the Ross mustache. And it's just, it's like making the Hulk blue. It's not right. Anyway. Okay, you got me sweating over here talking about this shit. All right. So yeah, for a plethora of reasons, I don't think Brave New World is going to do great. I'm hoping I'm wrong. In this case, I really hope I'm wrong. I hope and pray that I'm wrong. Because I want every Marvel property to do it. I want every DC property to do well. I want every superhero, because I love this stuff. And it hurts me to say bad things, but I just have a feeling. And you know, when I have a feeling, I'm usually right.
Hey, dear Kevin Feige and his people, you should send CQ of Pop Culture Warrior a contract here if you want this shit done right. All right. I'm going to plug that every single where that I can until they actually give you a call or an email asking you for a consult.
I will accept it.
You have good ideas, man.
I do. I like this. Scott says, okay, hold on. Are we saying that he can turn red and grow muscles, but he can't randomly grow a stash? Is that where we suspend realism? Look, all right. If we're gonna nitpick here, if we're gonna split hairs, guys, All right, if we're gonna split hairs, you know, I mean, you can take it to like, well, when Bruce Banner is in person form, right? He's got hair, yet when he hulks out, he never has any hair, right? Right? Think about when the last time you saw Hulk with hair. You didn't. Doesn't happen. So what is that? When he shrinks down, shouldn't he be bald? Does his hair grow as he shrinks down and he goes back to his normal cut? I don't know, man. I don't know how these things work, okay? I'm not in the science of superhero comic books, okay? I'm just saying that would be weird. If a dude is clean shaven and he hulks out and now has a mustache, that would be strange. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Where does he buy his pants? Yes, that is always a good question. So anyway, that's that. Couple more Marvel stories that I just wanted to cover, and not even a couple more. I think I have one more. That if this is, I pray this is true. I've wanted this story to be true since Endgame. Okay, since I saw Endgame, this is something I think I even told you when we were walking out of Endgame. Okay, do you recall a conversation with me when I said at the end of Endgame, like, wow, obviously all this amazing, great, phenomenal. But what happened to Captain America when he sent back those stones? Right? Because there was a lot there, right? There's a lot to unpack there. Some of them, yeah, you could, but like the red was it was in a block. How do you put that? And then the soul one, and then the space one was in the scepter. So how do you put it back in the scepter? And then the pivotal one is like, how do you return a soul stone after someone died to get it? Right? Does that person come back alive? What's the conversation between him and Red Skull when he's like, "Hey man, I'm here to return the fucking hell. It's the Red Skull." You know, like that's a weird conversation. Like I wanted to know that story since Endgame happened, and now there's a rumor going around that Chris Evans is in talks to reprise Captain America for a limited series specifically about Steve Rogers returning the Infinity Stones after or during Endgame. That how he goes from going back to being old, basically.
Okay.
And that it's being presented as a 6-episode special limited series event, which makes sense. Make 1 episode per stone. Each episode. It's a very remember
Yeah.
what was what was it? Where he jumped through and he was in different bodies. Fuck, what was that called? Not God, it's gonna kill me now. Where he was jumping from body to body, trying to find his way home. Oh, not Time. I was gonna say Time Cop. No, it was God bless it. Somebody help me out there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They just did a remake. Of it. It's an old show. Yes.
Doggone it. The guy who could go through
space and time and would end up in different bodies.
Quantum Leap.
That's what I'm talking about. Give me a Quantum Leap style of show where it's Captain America, now other than the body snatching part, but it's Captain America jumping to different times and different places and different events and returning the stone and and all the shit that goes with it. It could be a 30-minute episode. It doesn't even have to be an hour-long show. It could be a 30-minute episode of him just jumping in, getting into a little, sneaky, whatever, and working with people and, doing different peeks at history and time and then boom. And then, and then he ends with Peggy.
I'd be there for it. I'd be there for a couple of different reasons. I think you can do good storytelling with that. Like it doesn't have to be all the action and the fighting and the things like that. I think you can still get people invested in a good story.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get away with certain things. Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, he doesn't have to be in super good shape, right? Because, he'll be wearing like street clothes and things like that. He doesn't have to be in the Captain America suit, right? So I'm thinking from an acting perspective, he could be in regular clothes, doesn't need a lot of, to get the super buff in shape or anything like that. And you could do it low budget. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of opportunities there. So I'm hoping and praying and please God, let this be true. More than anything, I would love for this to be true because I want that. I want that so bad. I want that so bad. So yeah. Anyway, Quantum Leap. Thanks, guys. You on the spot. Johnny on the spot there. Yes, Quantum Leap. That was gonna kill me. Couple more stories here. Ooh, this one I really like. This one I really like because it's a shit story that became a really positive story. For those that know or don't know, Helldivers, huge game over the last year-ish, blew up out of nowhere. Everybody's playing it. Everybody loves it. Mostly PlayStation guys, some PC guys. Came out a couple weeks ago. Hey, you are going to have a PlayStation account linked to this game or you can't play it.
Ooh.
And you didn't hear about this?
No.
Oh my God. It was huge news in the gaming community. Basically, because it's owned by a developer owned by Sony, they're like, hey, we've got all these hundreds of millions of people playing. They sent out an announcement that you will have 30 days. It was like from like May 1st to May 31st or whatever it was. You have 30 days to create. And like, they're like, even if you don't have a PlayStation, you can go online, create a PS account, whatever, and then you have to link it to, so if you're playing on PC, you would still have to link it to a PlayStation account in order to play the game. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in. They just dropped it. Within hours, there were tens of thousands of people pissed off. Now, obviously, a lot of PlayStation players, they didn't give a shit. They're already linked in there, so they don't care. But PC players came out in force, in droves. It got heated quick.
Good.
Within 3 days, Helldivers, which is a beloved game, right? Hundreds of thousands of negative reviews flooded the market. People started review bombing the hell out of Helldivers 2. Was ripped to shreds. Like literally, you look at the metadata and it's like, you just shot straight down. People were doing like online petitions and all this and all that. And like, to their credit, the creators of Helldivers basically put out a tweet going, we've tried to stop this. We told them this isn't a good idea, but they're the bosses. They own us, so it's out of our hands. And it took, I don't know the exact, I think it was 4 days. 4 days. Within 4 days, Sony had to come out and reverse their decision and said, we are removing, it says, PlayStation has reversed course on the Helldivers 2 PSN account requirement after a weekend-long backlash that included tens of thousands of negative reviews hitting the server. So again, this is such a great story that shows when we can work together. It harkens back to, remember the Sonic debacle where the first Sonic came out and people were like, what the fuck is this? and literally forced the company to be like, look, we got to make a change. We got to make a change. Which worked out in their benefit because look, they're Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Knuckles. Like they've got a franchise out of this thing now because they listened to the people. Listen to the people. So now there's been floods of like people saying, okay, we won, go back, fix the reviews, like make sure we show them we appreciate them listening to us. So again, this is a Sony thing, but kudos all around to the players that made this, that came in unity and pushed back against this corporation. If only people yes. Okay, you're in the wrong place for this one. If only people felt that strong about congressional insider trading. Agreed.
Hold on, get me started on that.
Agreed. This isn't the platform. That's like a Monday thing, a Thursday thing, maybe a Wednesday thing. That's not a Tuesday thing. I can only speak to what I can speak to. My whole point is that kudos to the player base who have pushed back. I wish they pushed that hard to say, hey, make this game cross-platform, bring it to Xbox. If they push that hard, we can make it happen. We can make Xbox a thing. Now, to the credit of I saw this a little while ago. I didn't put notes in it, but to the credit of the creators of the game, they're celebrating along with everybody else. But they kind of teased that they're going to do like a, because I guess in the game, certain campaigns you can earn like cloaks, like special, whatever. Like I was at the Battle of fucking whatever, Cave Run, and you get like a cape for that. Okay. They're going to make a cape that says like I was part of the the PSN ban or whatever it is. Like they're gonna do like a special. Yeah, they're gonna do like if you were one of the people that reviewed or whatever, you're gonna get like a thing. So I think that's awesome. I'm like, play into it.
Speaking of Sonic and Knuckles, have y'all talked about Knuckles on this show yet?
The TV show, the Paramount
6-part show.
I haven't talked about it. Do you have something to say?
Have you seen it then?
I know what you're going to say, so go ahead and say it.
Okay, I'm just going to keep this short and brief. I've tried watching it twice. I have fallen asleep by episode 2 every single time. So I haven't made it to episode 3 and beyond. It's a slow start for me, even slower than Scarlet Witch. I'm just not feeling it. So I'm curious if anybody that's watching or listening, if y'all have watched it, and what y'all think about it. Because for me, it's a snooze fest.
So if you've seen the Paramount Plus series Knuckles, the 6-episode series, let us know. What do you think? I have not watched it. I do intend to at some point. I've just been high on other things right now. But I will say that a lot of the feedback I heard was kind of mid, in that there are some good stuff and there's some I did hear a lot people say that it was a slow burn, like it was a slow start, but that like halfway through the series it kind of picks up. I heard some of the characters were really good and some of them were kind of like, this is just filler. So nothing to write home about, but it is what it is, Yes, Wayne says he does have Paramount. Yeah, if you have Paramount, man, check it out. Let us know. Give us a review. If you want to write a review and share your thoughts to the world, send it to me. I'll post it on the page. I love user-generated content. So if you have a movie review, a TV review, a video game review, or just want to rant about a specific topic, send it to me and we will put it up there because that's what it's all about. So that's Helldivers 2. Let's see, a couple more and we will start wrapping this thing up. This one. So Microsoft, who recently purchased, Bungie and Activision, or not Bungie, they've had Bungie, Activision, Blizzard, and the like, spent all this money buying up all these studios and have now, over the past couple weeks, been shutting down studios. The makers of Redfall, Arcane Austin, shut down. The makers of Hi-Fi Rush, which was actually a pretty good game, and The Evil Within, which sold well, which is developer Tango Gameworks, and Alpha Dog Games, all shut down. They've absorbed Roundhouse Studios into the ZeniMax Online Studios, so it essentially shut them down. It's a lot. It's a lot of closing. Scott says, my review of Rainbow Six Siege. It's good. Get it. All right, man. I'll post it. Posted. So, yeah, man. It's sad to see that like there's these studios. Again, it's one of those things where I'm torn because like I get it from a business sense. Like, they just spent whatever it was, $52 billion to acquire all these massive franchises. you gotta get money. You gotta get money where you get money from. You know what I mean? You gotta shut things down and save money. But at the same time, I feel like you're what's that old saying? Cutting off your nose in spite of your face. Like
Yeah.
we understand that the Call of Duties sell well. We understand all that. But the beauty of gaming is that there's such a wide, varied style of game, choice of genres, all those things. And what they're ending up doing is buying up all these studios that are making all these games, handpicking like the one that they consider profitable, and then you're losing out on all those other games. Um, you know, I love AAA games. You know this about me. I play games a lot. And I will play AAA games, right? I will play Maddens and Call of Duties and all that. But me personally, I like to go through like the big budget AAA game and then play like 2 or 3 indie games, small games, and then go back to a big budget. Like I like to vary. I like to vary myself. I like to go from a Halo to a Madden to a, Call of Duty to a Gears of War, but then also mixing in like puzzle platformer, driving sim and like all these different things. And it makes me a little sad that like at a certain point we're not going to have that. It's just going to be all Microsoft games, all Sony games, and like a handful of indie companies that are on the verge of being bought out by these big companies. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. What do you think? What do you think about Microsoft buying these companies and then shutting them down?
I think it's dangerous. Part of what I hear and one of the things that I immediately think about is if you become like the guy, now you can kind of be able to control like how you want people to then give you money, right? Like I can see 10 years from now where Microsoft's the big, name on the block and like they're they transition more to like a subscription based model where you're paying for Game Pass, you're paying for, all these different content pushes for everything, right? Like not just your one-time buys and plays, it's going to go through everything. And Microsoft's still just going to be able to print money and you'll have your indie small time folks come through because folks are going to want to see different and there'll be something that comes out there and will do well because it's not the big Microsoft. I don't think it's good for gaming as a whole, but these companies are seeing big dollar signs and I kind of don't blame them either. You throw $46 billion at me, I might be talking to the board of directors real quick about why we should go ahead and sell and pull out.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Let's see. Scott says, I don't think their intentions were to shut them down, but to acquire IP and personnel to move around, buy a company, find out what the good employees are, shut down the company down, and let the rest go. Keep the IP, move forward with better quality games. That seems to me like a very optimistic look at this. And again, I hope that's the case. I hope I am wrong. I feel similarly that it's buy the company, get the IP, shut the company down, and then figure out a way to make that IP the cheapest way possible, which is worse quality, right? And then my biggest concern always is if so let's say you create a game, right? And it's got your fingerprints on it, right? It's your blood, sweat, and tears. And then I buy you, I take that IP, and then I kick you out, and I give it to Pete to make that game. That game's going to be very different. Even though it's the same IP, and they can copy and paste as much of your code as they can, it's not going to have your fingerprints on it. It's not going to be your game. It's going to be this other bastardized version of this game. And I think we're going to see that a lot. I'm curious, long term, what's that ROI? What's that return on investment? They just bought Activision and Blizzard. huge acquisition. It was like whatever it was, $52 billion or whatever it was. That's going to take them 2 console generations worth of AAA award-winning games to even break even. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have the best-selling game every year, year after year, for the next 20 years to break even on that kind of purchase. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But let's see. Oh, and because somebody was asking me, I did have a note here that Assassin's Creed, the next Assassin's Creed game, was just announced. It was formerly called like Assassin's Creed Red, I think is what they were calling it. It is now being released. Let's see, where are my notes? Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is previously known as Codename Red, is going to have its first official trailer tomorrow. So we'll probably post that on the page when it gets released. Keep an eye out for it. It is the first game in the franchise to be set in feudal Japan. So, shocker that a game called Assassin's Creed took this long to get into the era of assassins, the Japanese assassins, as they were mostly known. But we're finally setting foot in Japan. Personally, I think this might be something to bring me back into the Assassin's Creed world, because like they did the Greek mythology. They went back like to the ancient Egypt, which they were fine, nothing wrong with it. But I don't know, something about like fucking dressed in robes with katanas gets me excited. I don't know, man. I've got a kink. What can I say?
Nice.
The little wooden flip flops that they be wearing. I got a real kink. What can I say? Ninja, please. I
Nice.
definitely have. Still waiting for them to do a Predator that fights samurai. Man, I remember hearing something about that they were writing. I don't know if it was a movie or something about a Predator who fights like samurai, but it's totally a different thing. Long time ago. So yeah. So congratulations, Pete. I know you've been asking about Assassin's Creed forever. There you go. Keep an eye out tomorrow. First trailer going up tomorrow, and very excited to see what comes of that. Lastly, since we've been talking about video games, let me close out with this last story. For those people that love a good G.I. Joe, there is reportedly a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes video game in development, and is the only reason I'm excited about something like this, by the people that made the Batman Arkham series. So, G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, but imagine it in the Arkham style. I think it could work. Like, that's, again, call me what you will, but I love me a good ninja story. And Snake Eyes is nothing if not a military ninja. So I'm excited for it. I'm with it. Mr. Smith, what do you think? What do you think about Snake Eyes? Fan of Snake Eyes?
Yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of Snake Eyes. He was definitely one of my favorite people off of G.I. Joe. I thought that how they portrayed him in the last movie was dope. So it'd be cool. Like I too also like ninja games. I played the shit out of some Shinobi. So yeah, I'm for it.
I'm trying to think. Shinobi. What was the? Oh man, there was one that I really liked. Oh god, man, he had like white spiky hair. Oh fuck, what was that?
Oh, did you get around to watching Shogun on Hulu?
That's on my list of shows to watch. So
I think
I've
you'll
heard
enjoy
really
it.
good things.
I'm always hesitant to recommend you shit because it seems like whenever I recommend you something, you
like,
shit on
"That's
it because
trash."
I recommended it. So, but Shogun was fantastic.
That's
man.
not true. It's because you have shit taste. It's not because you
Hey,
recommended it. It's just because
they
you have shitty taste.
they wouldn't make 13 Fast and Furiouses if it wasn't good. I'm just
No,
saying.
no. There's a difference between good and profitable. There's a difference. There's a big difference. Anyway. But I know I've heard really good things about Shogun. 9s and 10s across the board each episode, and they've already been greenlit for a season 2. So there's a season 2 coming of that. I did hear about that. Wayne says, knock, knock. Who's there, man? What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, so that's that. A couple more stories, but they can go till next week. But yeah, man, this was fun, dude. Thanks for stopping by, man. Time flies, doesn't it? Time flies.
Yeah, it did, absolutely, man. I was glad to be here. Hey, y'all, look, if y'all want me to come back, put it in the comment section. Tell Mad Mike he can just chill for the remaining month of May. I got this.
I got this. I'll put it out there. Over the next 2 months, everybody's getting a little busy with, school's out, things happening, vacations and such. There's going to be a bit of a co-host carousel over the next June, July. So we might see the actual King Smith more often than not. There might be...
Uh-oh. I can't see the chat.
Sorry, I'll put Greg said, we needed a Mad Mike break, to be honest. I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna let him know to stand down. But no, this was a lot of fun, man. A lot of really cool stuff. If you weren't here for the beginning of the show, just a lot of cool stuff that's coming down the pipe. A lot of giveaway stuff that I need to organize and then start shipping out. Some really cool stuff that we have in the works. What else did we talk about? Guests, dude. The next 2 to 3 months, we have some really, really good people set up. I can confirm next week. It's going to be a pre-recorded interview just based on scheduling. But next week we have Mary McCormick, who's a phenomenal actress. Let me pull up my notes. Because I have all my notes here. Because we're going to be doing the interview on Friday. We're going to record it, and then we'll air it on Tuesday. But... So see, Mary McCormick is one of today's boldest and most versatile actresses, continually challenging herself with roles that defy Hollywood standards, bring to light the complex lives of ordinary women. The LA Times says McCormick has a kind of 20th century sass, a lively impertinence that you'd find in classic Hollywood comedians like Barbara Stanwyck, Irene Dunne, Rosalind Russell. She's shown her immense talent working in film, television, on stage, and has tackled roles ranging from slapstick comedy to intense drama. Tony nominated for her role in Broadway's Boeing opposite Mark Rylance. She's also widely known for her 4 seasons as a regular cast member of The West Wing, for which she had 2 SAG Award nominations, and as the lead of USA's critically acclaimed In Plain Sight for her role opposite Howard Stern in Private Parts. Most recently, Mary stars in both seasons of the hit Star series Heels, in which she garnered a Critics' Choice Award nomination for Best Lead Actress in an Action Series. Next up, she'll appear in a Paramount horror feature, Vicious. Mary's recent television work includes starring roles in ABC series The Kids Are All Right, the AMC series Loaded, the NBC comedy series Welcome to the Family, as well as arcs on such shows as HBO's The Newsroom, Scandal, the award-winning miniseries When We Rise, House of Lies, Will and Grace Reboot. It goes on and on and on. Phenomenal actress, here to talk to us, and she's going to be appearing on the PBS Memorial Day concert special, so we're going to talk about that as well, which if you've been tuning into other shows, we're kind of connecting into. Keep an eye out for that. But that is our next guest, and we have a bunch of lines after that. Yeah, what's up?
I got a question, because tomorrow I'm going to wake up and not do anything but turn on Disney Plus to watch the final episode of X-Men 97. How do you think it plays out? I want to see if you're going to go, I was right.
I was right or you were right?
You were right. Like you see.
Oh, I think I'm going to be right. I remember when I made my bold predictions during our game night, that one night, this was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, if anything, we have seen more evidence to that I'm going to be right.
All right.
because not sure how familiar you are with the comic books, but obviously in the comic books, a huge story arc was when the adamantium was ripped out of Wolverine's body. Correct? I don't know, you know that.
Yeah.
It took years later for this to play into it, but when Onslaught eventually, because it wasn't like, oh, he pulled out the adamantium and then Onslaught became a big villain. Like, it took years. But when Onslaught became a villain, when they did his backstory, it draws back to the day Magneto ripped out the adamantium from Wolverine, and Professor X hit him with that psychic blast to try to shut him down. In comics, that is the birth of Onslaught. That is the moment where their psyches connected and birthed it. Now, he didn't come out for years. Like, he lay dormant within Professor X for years. But in story lore, that's so again, everything. I remember I called Bastion, I called the Nimrod connection, I called the Master Molds, and I said ultimately, I think the big bad, which we wouldn't see until the very end because it'll lead into the next season, would be Onslaught. There's nothing that's happened to make me think otherwise. Because, you know, Bastion was painted as going to be the big bad, and Magneto in one 30-second clip ended that whole reign, you know, was like, no more, and he's done. So that leaves us like, what's next? What's you know what I mean? What's going to happen? And so now we see it as the clash between Professor X and Magneto. And again, I don't think this was a situation of where like Onslaught has been playing us the whole time. I think them clashing will bring about Onslaught, and that will play into next season. So we might even not see him until the very end as like a tease, you know, a dark shadow, and it's coming. You can't. We'll see. I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. You know the shirt I got. I may be wrong, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but I'm excited. I think they knocked it out of the park with X-Men 97. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's a great series. Even as a jumping on point, you know, you don't have to do your homework, so to speak, to really enjoy the series. Obviously, it helps to know all the backstories, but there it is. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. It's perfect. You might as well have like a little dash CQ at the bottom. CQ says, but yeah, so we shall see. But no, I'm right there with you, man. First thing in the morning, booting that bad boy up and seeing how it wraps up. Hey, Wayne, stay marvelous. Gotta fly. Good. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Like I said, we'll just wrap this up, but lots of really good stuff, man, coming down the pipe. I'm very excited. I even found, like, as I was going through and organizing stuff, I found this, which I gotta be careful to show on stream because there's no way for me to show. Here is a folder filled with pages of codes for video game downloads. And I thought to myself, there's no way, because I got this like a year, 2 years ago. It's like, there's no way it still works. So I went and I put in a couple of the codes and yep, still works. Still works. So these are all PC codes for different games, such as World of Tanks, Wildermyth. Let's see what else. There's a bunch of different ones. Those are all Wildermyth. Oh, there's another one. Where's the other one? I don't know. But there's a bunch of them. And I was checking, and they still work. They very much still work. So that'll be a thing that like I do giveaways, and I'll be like, hey, oh, here it is. Here's the other one. Games like Crown Trick, Crusaders, Industria, Just Cause, The Ascent, Hot Wheels, Lawn Mowing Simulator, Legend of Keepers, I Am Fish, Phoenix Point, Star Wars Squadrons, Super Hot, Mass Effect, Mafia, Maneater. Like, those are all some really great games, and I have codes for them. So I will be doing gaming giveaways as well. Maybe I'll give it to our guy over at Weekend Co-ops, and he can give away gaming codes, man, because I am nothing if not giving. Okay, I am nothing if not giving, and very happy to do that for the take one for the team. But
No
lots
doubt.
to be excited for. Let's take a look around the station. I don't feel like you do this on your show. You want to take a stab at it? You want to do a little station promo?
Nope.
Oh man, you gotta get better at this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on another fabulous night of Pop Culture Warrior. Here at WTF Nation Radio, you can expect to see amazing shows like Sunday Night, The Sports Bar with this guy, the actual King Smith, and his co-host Coach, and they bring you all that sports ball goodness that you just love to see. Cheer him on. Tell him Bama sucks, all those things. He gets excited for that. On
Okay.
Monday nights, we've got the Monday edition. That's your news, commentary, and discussion about all the things happening in the world. And that's with host Ice and co-host Massey. I know they're in a bit of a transition, the travel and things, so might be on and off, but they're there when they can be there. Tuesdays, right here with us, CQ. Sometimes Mad Mike, sometimes Angry Elf, sometimes Nemo, sometimes Massey, sometimes the actual King Smith, and who knows, maybe we even bring in Radar. We got to bring Radar back for like a reunion special one of these weeks. That'd be fun. But right here at Pop Culture Warrior Tuesday nights. Wednesday night is the Smoke Pit with Radar and TZ. They just had like Ted Nugent on, which is insane. Like, so awesome. Great interview. We're really building out just a hell of a station, man. I'm very excited about the future. Thursday night, Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky, or co-hosts. Sometimes there's random, so we'll see. And then we close out the week here on WTF Nation. Well, technically we don't. Because Friday night, Freedom is our last official show of the week with Kaz and guest. But now on Saturday nights, for the time being, until it's more of a permanent situation, we have weekend co-ops with Nemo, which I had fun joining. I think you joined in on a game with him, right? Once.
Yep.
Yep. And which games you guys play?
Man, horrible memory. I don't remember.
As you can see, it's very important to us to really engage. No, I joined him. We played, I forget the name of it, only because it's a game that doesn't exist yet. We played an early beta of a game. It has something to do with like vampires and sucking blood and shooting, and it's like a shooty, sucky game and fighting and magic and things. And it was fun. It was interesting. But he just played the Marvel game this weekend, which I thought was pretty cool. Which I'm excited. I don't know, King. What do you think? Let me go back to the main screen here. What do you think, King? What are your thoughts on the Marvel Rivals?
So I watched Nemo play it, and I'm excited. I like those style of games. I think that if you're playing it with friends, it can be fun. I am going to buy it just from the sample size that I saw and the fact that it's got the Marvel skins essentially to it. But I think it's a game worth playing.
Yeah,
I'm getting it.
yeah. I think I am as well. I think we get the band back together. If we can get the boys playing, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And that's something we could maybe all on a Saturday night we all get together and go live on weekend ops or weekend co-ops, and you, me, Mad Mike, Nemo. Could be fun. Could be a lot of fun, and I think people get a kick out of that. Because I have a feeling it'd be a lot of yelling, a lot of blaming, and a lot of me being better than everyone, and you guys not being able to handle it.
Yeah. I can't wait. Yes, I miss our gaming days.
Greg says King Smith can come back next week. Less of everything sucks kind of co-host, which was nice. He is the yin to my yang. He's the cookie crust of my Oreo cream. I don't know. There's something there. I think it works. But all right, guys, This has been fun. This has been Pop Culture Warrior. I've been CQ. He's been King Smith. And you guys have been great. So we'll see you next week. Shots.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.